Swallow Falls, Raging Rapids,
Raging Rapids. That's where you was at.
podcast 127.
That's
I
not what
did.
the podcast is about, but
No, but I did get to visit. I visited Deep Creek Lake. If anybody has ever been there or lives in the Maryland area, Deep Creek Lake,
it's the
visit.
Dead Sea.
It's a Dead Sea, no fish,
No
and
fish.
we got to visit Swallow Falls. And Swallow Falls, I believe, is the largest waterfall in Maryland.
No
And
bears.
there's bears there.
Ooh.
And yeah, oh yeah, that's Western Maryland, man. There's all kinds of bears there. That's where
Ooh.
like the only bear season is in Maryland, is Western Maryland. But yeah, pretty cool area. Um, but in regards to the podcast, we're going to talk about soil health,
Ooh, yeah.
organic matter, how to improve it. Kind of we're not going to go too in depth with it, but just we're going to throw out some scenarios, some improvements you can do, things to look out for, and so forth. So, yeah, so I love this topic. I love soil. I think soil was fun. I like to roll around in it and sprinkle it over my body.
Nice.
That's how much I love.
Grounding.
Yeah, grounding. I like to get my feet in the dirt and just ground myself to the soil. That's what I like.
He likes to be one with nature.
One with nature.
Oh my.
Um, but yeah, so improving it is it's achievable. It takes time. And really, you have several methods to do it. Uh, Chris can probably correct me if I'm wrong, but our method is kind of disking, the ground, which if you go down the rabbit hole of disking versus kind of no-till, you'll see a lot of
Mm,
information out there that kind of discredits disking and bashes disking and things. But
yeah.
in reality, disking has been around forever.
Forever.
And you could probably debate both ways. I mean,
It's
you can,
biblical.
yeah, it's biblical. um
That was a podcast we had.
yeah, it was, yeah. And you can go down the rabbit hole between disking versus no-till, and you're going to see pros and cons to both.
I
You know,
like
this,
them both, but you know,
well, I mean, personally, I
there's
mean,
there's instances I would like to be able to do something. You know.
yeah, I mean, I'll be straight up. Personally, I've never no-tilled, but I know people that do. I'm very familiar with it, and I go to clients' properties where they buy these massively expensive no-till drills, and they just have very poor results. Now,
Mm.
yes, you no-till, you can have great results. Yes, you disc, you can have great results. Um, it, what if you also no-till, you can have bad results. If you disc, you can have no bad results. So you can argue either way. Now, I think no-till, both of these have their own place, um,
Yeah.
where they should be used or shouldn't be used. And I feel like if you are a agricultural grower, you're growing massive amounts of corn and beans and production type setups, or you have massive amounts of acres that you're planting for deer, probably no-till is the way to go because it's going to be quicker. I mean, you're not going to spend all that time, disking the fields,
Yeah.
but it could go quick too if you have these 20, 30 foot discs on these tractors,
Yeah.
you know, it can go fast as well.
I
But
mean, it's going to benefit certain people if they have that equipment already.
yeah, it just there's
But
a
the average food plotter is not going to do that.
that's what I'm getting at is that
Right.
we're food plotters and most people are planting 3 acres maybe at most.
Maybe at
On I'd
most.
say I'd say on average, the average food plotter is planting 1 acre or less.
Oh yeah.
That
So many
that's
people out there like guesstimate, oh, I quarter acre. When in reality, everybody overshoots. Like it's easy to average something and say, hey, that's 3 acres. And like
yeah.
I told you over there that time, you you asked how much destination plot I had, and I said probably near 3 acres. And we walked it off, and it was what, like 2.25 or something.
Mhm.
So I was
Yeah, something
way
like that.
off in a guesstimation. Like, and people do that a lot with their food plots. They're like, yeah, I got a 1/4 acre down in the woods. You go down there and it's a strip 60 feet by 20 feet. You know, it's
Yeah,
like
it's
quarter
like a
acre. Heck
yeah, it's
no.
a 16th of an acre.
Yeah, if
Um,
that.
but yeah, I mean, even like the people that I go to for property visits, I would say most is about 1 acre, maybe two, maybe three sometimes, but it's a very small amount.
Mhm.
So both have its place, but in regards to deer hunting, I think disking is perfectly acceptable. Um, and like for me, you don't want to disc unless you're planning. So I don't think you should go out there and just randomly disc the ground. I don't like that. I think you should have something in that ground for it green and growing as long as possible. You literally disc it in to turn it in for green manure, and you plant something right away. When you repeatedly disc over and over and over, it's a bad thing. It makes your soil kind of like a hard pan, and then because you're just disking, you're ripping it apart too much. Um,
Yeah,
and
if you pulverize it, yeah.
yeah, yep. And then, which then goes into organic matter. You're trying to build that organic matter, which if you pulverize it, you destroy that organic matter. So you want to have something green or a previous, that went dormant, turnips, brassica, whatever, winter wheat, rye, whatever. You want to turn that back into the soil and plant something right away, but you don't want to pulverize it down to a dust. You just need to lightly just disc it up, and over time you build up that organic matter. Now, if you always have bare soil and then you're planting something, you're not having success with it, it's nothing's really growing, and then you go to disc it again the following year, you get a drought, and you're just going to keep setting yourself back. So um that's why it's important. Like, people aren't having success, it's because they have very little tonnage that they're turning back into the soil to build up that organic matter. You need a root system in there. Buckwheat's good for it. And lightly dip. You don't need to go down a foot deep, and maybe every 5 years or something. You can turn it over, but um, in the most cases, just a couple inches down is very good. And for example, like the farm me and Chris worked on, you know, that's when I started kind of videoing YouTube and making videos. Is when I first got that, those fields, food plots where we were planting. I mean, they had organic matters in like 1 to 2% maybe, somewhere around there. After 5 years, 4 years, I had organic matters up in the six and sevens. And I had CECs that were extremely low. Then when we were done after the 5 years, we had CECs way, I mean, it was high, which you don't want to go too high because then you have more like clay-like soil and nothing can infiltrate through the soil. So there's a balance with it. But the point is, you have guys that no-till, and what's the saying? It takes 100 years to build 1 inch of of topsoil.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
you're trying to no-till, there's guys online bragging that they went up by like a half a point in 5 years of organic matter.
Hmm.
I'm like, dude,
I
like
don't have much time, man.
I don't, who has that amount of time? I went up 4 to 5 points of organic matter within 4 years. So it can be done, it's achievable, but you have to do it the right way.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it takes a little bit of work, but
yeah.
you know, one of the things you mentioned was the buckwheat,
Hmm.
and that's an easy way to incorporate
Hmm.
organic matter back in.
Yeah.
But the problem is, what I don't understand with the no-till guys is a lot
Hmm.
of times instead of reincorporating stuff, they'll roll crimp it and spray it with glyphosate and let it lay on top and decompose for future nutrients. And what nutrients? You just sprayed it with glyphosate,
Hmm.
and now you've killed it. You've dried it out to duff,
Yep.
that's going to lay on top and bake, and that's what they're calling topsoil. I mean, eventually it does just disintegrate into dust, but there's a better way, buddy. There's a better way.
Yeah, when you spray that, like you said, that's what it is. The salt and stuff that's in there dries, it pulls the moisture out of the plant, dries it
Yeah,
completely
well,
out.
and
And
it kills their argument that we're destroying soil by disking it.
mhm.
We're destroying microbes. Well, what is spraying all those chemicals doing? You know, that's destroying some stuff too. But anyhow,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
got to be killing, microorganisms and things like living organisms in the soil.
I
Like
would I would say so.
the
You know,
chemical can't, that's what it's designed to do, is to kill. Now, you have beneficial insects and things on the plants and all that, and then you're spraying those, and then, they're laying it on top of the soil, and you're planting first, and then you're laying this on top of the soil. And, it's a weird process.
yeah,
But, I'd rather take buckwheat or winter wheat for that matter, not spray it, have it living green, full of moisture,
yep.
and you turn that back in,
Sure.
and then you drag it or whatever, and you plant right away. You have the moisture that's still there. You're still going to have a little bit of active root system from disking it. So you're still going to be able to hold the moisture in there and for the next crop. And we have I mean, you have a lot of videos. I have a ton of videos from planting, disking, like literally in the videos we're disking,
Yeah.
planting right away, and then we end up with a beautiful food plot. So, and we'll even throw a shout out here. We'll throw a shout out to my competitor within the PA area that plants food plots and makes YouTube videos, and we met him at the Great American Outdoor Show. Any idea?
Oh, I know who it is.
Okay, so Jason Say.
Hmm.
He lives in PA. We met him. I know him. We talked to him. He does consulting. We both consult in PA, and all that. And he discs his food plots. He does the traditional fertilizer disking, lime applications, turning things back in, and great food plots.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
for
he has
people,
the what's the teeth thing, the Kunst thing that he drags.
yeah, chisel
Chisel
plow.
chisel plow. Yeah, he
Yeah,
chisel plows everything.
with his ATV.
Yep. Yep.
So some people
Don't
say, "Oh, disking's horrible. You can't
yeah, you
have a
don't
great,
don't need a tractor.
don't need a
I mean,
tractor.
I use one because it's available to me. That's what I
You're
have.
you're cheating."
Yeah, I do cheat a little bit, but
So, but yeah, I mean, we've talked about this before. You have to, if you're following somebody online for advice, you have to look at their food plots. Yes, some people no-till have great food plots. Some people disc have great food plots. But if you're taking advice from somebody that doesn't post their food plots or has crappy food plots, or they look like sprigs, a plant every
Sprigs.
a plant every 6 feet, in the soil, that's probably not a good method to follow. If you look at, because I've watched some YouTubers that, I mean, are master food plotters, in the food plot world, and they're hunting in the tree stand, and you see they're hunting over their food plot. Dude, it's sprigs. It's a plant every 6 feet, but that's not a food plot, but they blame it on something. But I mean, every year, every single, like, there's something wrong. You know what I mean? There's something wrong. And now I'm getting fired up because
Now he's fired up
it's annoying.
because you
Like,
said the word sprigs.
sprigs, it's annoying. Um, it's I lost my train of thought. But a food plot, okay, is like a legit food plot. You have a massive amount of tonnage. It's green, lush, tender. The deer are hitting it. There's no bare spots. That's a legit food plot. And Jason Say, me, like, we get great food. There's tons of people out there that have great food plots. But there's some influencers on YouTube that they're not very good. Like, the food plots suck.
Yeah, I don't.
So
they buy into that less is more stuff. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of factors in it. I mean,
But I don't like less is more. I like it to be full and
right,
fighting the competition,
right.
you know. And then when you do reincorporate for the organic matter, you're
Hmm.
not reincorporating weeds
Right.
back into the dirt. You
Hmm.
know, if you have a nice full flush of green stuff that you planted and not
Hmm.
full flush of weeds to go to maturity,
Can you?
uh,
I didn't mean to cut you. Can you see my screen right now? Like
I
you just see me, or do you see a
I
picture?
just see you right now.
Okay, I'm gonna pull a picture up of a legit food plot. If I can, my computer got erased here, but I think I can. You can keep talking.
So yeah, I was just saying I don't like any bare spots because that gives weeds the chance to pop up.
Hmm.
And then when you go to disc that back in, well then you're disking in weeds.
Correct. Yep.
And you know, that seed's gonna spread and you're gonna have an issue.
Hmm.
So
All right.
that's why that's why
For
you
an
get good. What are you saying?
sorry, for an example, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
That that's a legit food plot. There's no bare spots. This is at the well X farm now, but you can see right here, where it butts up against the farmer's soybeans,
Mm,
and then this is my brassica plot that follows all the way down,
okay.
and the corn on the other side, right?
Let that deer grow.
Yes, let that deer grow. Now, how do I get rid of this?
I'd
Uh,
shoot that sucker here in Sigel.
right
That'd be
now,
that'd be a good one here.
what is this here? I can't really see when I'm presenting. The pictures are so small. But like just for the people watching the video, now this is obviously in the summer.
That's you
This
trespassing.
this is also a legit food plot that follows the soybeans, and there's my old there. Hey, there's your Dodge in the background.
Oh no, you killed my dreams.
So this was what's Domain's blend? The one with the buckwheat and stuff. Overhaul.
Overhaul or
Yeah,
motherload? Which one was it?
mother overhaul. This was overhaul. I planted in the spring, but that's a legit food plot. So you can see where it's just full, lush, no bare spots, no weeds,
Mhm.
um, and so forth. So it is very possible to to uh to disc and have good results. What's this buck
Sure.
here? Look at this buck, velvet buck.
Mm.
That's up in PA.
I'd shoot that one here.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, what about this guy? This will be
I'd
the
lay it.
last one.
I'd lay it
Last one.
down.
What's this here? I
I
don't know
would
what
have
this is.
laid it down.
I can't even see when I'm there you go. That's two little bucks. Three little bucks.
There you go.
But this is Brassica's, one of Domain's blends.
Yeah.
This was the end of September. So
Mm.
I probably, if I had to guess, I planted that the last week of August.
Okay.
And that's what you got there. So this is just simply disc in the ground, we added lime, some fertilizer, and so forth. So again, it's very achievable when you grab soil samples, you add the correct amount of lime, and then you'll get pushback, where people say, "Oh, we are adding synthetic fertilizer." Well, yeah, I am, because who has 5 years to build up nutrients in, in the soil
Right.
by now if it's a like I said, if you're a major agricultural, farmer where you're growing food and crops and things, yeah, like
Yeah.
I don't yeah, it's right there. That's a legit food plot.
There's no BS, and you know they have oat
Hmm.
in their turnip in there,
Right.
and their
So
clover and chicory. But the way that grows, like the oat in the leaves that spread out, shade everything. You know what
yes.
I'm saying? It
Hmm.
fills in, and there's no bare spots.
Right.
And I literally have planted that blend across the road. And of course, the oat and the turnip goes
Mhm.
away, and the chicory and the uh, clover stay behind.
Mhm.
And you'll see Saturday, Dave's coming up. This is the weekend he's coming up. We're fishing here in
Mhm.
PA.
Mhm.
And we'll walk over there and I'll show him that strip over there that I used to call the Green Mile, the buffer strip that I had along the woods. I
Mhm.
still have clover over there from 4 years ago, 3 years ago when I planted that no BS strip in there.
Mhm.
It just
Yeah.
keeps coming back and coming back. All I just do, I just keep mowing it.
Mhm.
I just keep it mowed, get that weed out of there. You know,
Yeah. Yep.
don't allow those weeds to mature and go to seed. And then when I do want to change that out someday, I'm just gonna disc that clover right under, and there
Mhm.
won't be any weed competition with it.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
but
It's
that
very.
creates your green manure. You put that right back in the ground. That green manure turns to organic matter on your soil tests.
Mhm.
You know, you've got that in the ground.
Yep.
That's your moisture holding content, your nutrient holding content, which all goes together with your CEC and allows your plants to uptake that nutrient into your existing plot.
Mhm.
That's the easiest I could explain that, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. I mean, you said it. I mean, correct. It's very achievable if you follow the steps. I
Yeah.
mean, you can disc, and I think discing is perfectly acceptable for planting a food plot for a wild deer. If
Oh
it's
yeah.
an agricultural type thing where you're providing food for the family and different, yeah, I mean, you might not want to use synthetic, you know, fertilizers and different things, and maybe the no-till method is best for that. If you got hundreds of acres to plant, then maybe that's a better method. But for the average typical deer hunter food plotter, disking perfectly acceptable. You get ATV, get a basic soil sample if you want to, you want to, kick it up a notch. As for a micronutrient, panel to add in there. But other than that, soil sample, lime, fertilizer, disc it, plant the seed, pray for rain. Done, finished, food plot.
It's rocket science, right?
It is rocket science. I have a video that's called Food Plots Are Not Rocket Science.
Well, just as we're pretty much done with the podcast, but just I'll throw this in for free. Everybody's freaking out right now about spraying their food plots. That's the biggest trending thing I see right now.
Hmm.
Everybody got weeds and they want to, you know what? It- And I'm guilty of mowing a lot, but if these guys would just drop the mower and freaking mow a little more and just keep that groomed up, you could fight about half those weeds off
Hmm.
all summer long. And in the fall, they're done. They're
Hmm.
annual weeds
Right.
uh, if they don't want to be spraying in that thing. But yeah, that people are just freaking out over this stuff. But I guess what I was getting at was, there's so many things a deer eats, like 700 and some species, and we plant what, 5 or 6 species or something.
Hmm.
I mean, so you're thinking you're eliminating weeds because they're bad and they look terrible. Well, just keep them mowed up and they'll look fine. Um, but don't forget the deer eat that crap too.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, look at some of the stuff that people get rid of. Ragweed, for instance. People freak out when they get ragweed. Well, ragweed is probably more nutritious than the clover that you just planted.
Hmm.
If you did a nutrient panel on that.
Yeah. You know what's really good is American Beautyberry.
Mm.
They love American Beautyberry.
There's a lot of
That's
beneficial things out there,
yeah.
you know.
Did you know the American Beautyberry has the like purplish berries on them? And whenever it was, the Indians used to take those berries and then they used to paint their face with them.
Really?
Yeah,
Now you don't mean pokeweed, do you?
it's the same thing. Pokeweed.
Okay. I
Yeah,
was
I
gonna
just called
say,
it. It's American Beautyberry. I call it the same thing,
yeah, because
but it's
pokeweed,
pokeweed. If you
that's
get that stuff on your clothes, it stains it.
oh
Like
my gosh, that stuff's
yeah,
terrible.
yep,
It's like ink.
yeah. Yeah, it is.
But they
That's why
eat
they
it.
call it American Beauty Berry, because they would paint their face. It's just a nickname for it.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah.
That wraps up this podcast.
Organic
And
matter.
yep, and we'll see you guys on podcast 128. Any questions? Let us know.
Let us know in the comments below. See ya.
Right.